Only thing I hate in my life so much is going to office. Why? Office is nice, work is nice, but my boss. Let's not talk about the only headache of my life. No one can change my thoughts on this. I hate my boss, and this will remain constant. I was in my deep thought, working peacefully, when I called by none other than guess who? Obviously, my headache. Slowly making my way towards his cabin, I knocked on the door. He replied with his stern voice, "Come in." "Mr. Kim, you called me?" I asked with a sweet voice. "Why do you think you are here?" Without replying to my question, he questioned me with an arrogance. Joke. I mumbled to myself before shaking my head. "Prepare the papers for the contract with Mr. Sang. We had to leave for Busan in 15 for 2 days. 15? Mr. Kim, Busan. But I can't. I don't even have extra clothes. Shit, why did I have to give him this reason? He'll surely think me of a fool. Miss Jung, it's not we are going in party. Now do not waste my time. Prepare the papers." He shifted his piercing gaze from me to the files. I rolled my eyes before making my way outside my cabin. Being a secretary for almost 6 months now, I have already got habituated of the unexpected meetings. He is hot though, but clearly not someone whom I adore. He was driving quietly. There was pin drop silence in the car. His gaze was fixed on the road, clearly focused on whatever he was doing. So I decided to look outside the window, and a pleasant smile formed on my lips looking at the scenery in front of me. Wind was blowing peacefully. The weather was so calming, soothing my mind and soul. I usually never sleep during car rides, but something about today was so peaceful. In no time, I dozed off, leaving every other thoughts behind. "Miss Jung, we have Miss Jung!" A scary voice echoed inside the small space, shaking my heart, nearly giving me an heart attack. I saw a clearly annoyed person gazing at me. I'm sorry, Mr. Kim. If you are done with your beauty sleep, can we head out for the reason we are here?" I nodded, stepping out of the car. Sometimes it makes me worried to the extent that what must be the reason of his cold behavior. I have heard many times that behind every cold person there stays an untold truth that nobody knows. Shying, we went inside the hotel. He handed me my room keys and went inside his. I changed my clothes, applied light makeup, and styled my hair. After half an hour, I went outside the room, having no idea of the meeting place. I casually walked near the hallway. "Your name?" Suddenly, I heard an excited voice to which I turned back. To my surprise, it was none other than my college friend Namjoon. "June? Oh my god!" I ran to him and we hugged each other. "How are you, Uni? I missed you, buddy." We parted from the hug. "I missed you too, Juni. You are here for some meeting as well?" I asked, excited, but to my disappointed, he replied, "No, I was just heading out. I was here with some friends, but guess what? I saw you and decided to pay you a visit." He giggled, showing me his dimples. We walked for some time, then he left, bidding goodbyes. We promised each other to stay in connect from now on. After Junie left, one of the attendants asked me to join the meeting which was about to start. I immediately walked inside the glass door, where all our investors and Mr. Kim was present. He gestured me to bring some of his files, to which I nodded and made my way to him. But to my dismay, my heels broke and I accidentally fall onto one of the investors. I bit my lips in embarrassment because all their eyes were fixed on me. I tried to stand up ASAP, but my ankle got twisted and again I landed on the investor. Shit, why it's always me in trouble? I mumbled to myself before I heard someone growl in anger. Out. Mr. Kim's fierce gaze fell upon me, scaring me to the core. Mr. Kim, I said out. My eyes stared up at the immense amount of embarrassment in front of all the people inside the room and anger of not being given a chance to explain. Gathering all my courage, I stood up from the investor's lap and walked outside slowly. I had no idea of the place I was, but loud bangs of music were blasting my mind. The place seems to be bar which I have never been before. The people present here were anything but sober. Their actions were clear enough to prove me right. Some of them were dancing on the floor, grinding each other's body parts. Some of them were kissing each other intimately, and so on. I was feeling thirsty, so I ordered one glass of apple juice. After being thrown out of the meeting room for 2 hours ago, I was roaming here and there like a lost puppy. So I decided to sit here and enjoy. But guess what? I have decided to leave this place as well. So I took my glass of apple juice, which was kept on the countertop. These bartenders nowadays have clearly forgot their ethics. At least they could have let me know that my drink was already prepared, so I would have taken it myself. But no, he has to keep it on the floor without informing. Maybe I was overreacting. I drank the juice in one gulp, but the drink was far away from the taste of apple juice. The stingy fragrance made me like puking. Oh no, ma'am, why did you drink this drink? It was not yours. I got slightly irritated at the statement. Then why was it kept in the place? This drink felt like trash. Your services are ridiculous. I barked and walked out of there too. I was on my way towards my room, but suddenly the atmosphere started heating. Maybe someone has switched on the heaters. But we are already sitting in the month of December. Heaters were already working since we got inside the hotel. Whatever. I took some fast steps towards my room while losing the scarf around my neck. Time skip. That's great, Mr. Sang. It was really nice to have business with you. Mr. Kim stood up from his seat to shake his hands with Mr. Sang. They made their way out of the meeting room. Mr. Kim went inside his hotel room, but something clicked his mind that Yornem was long gone and there were no trace of her. It was not like they chat a lot or anything, but whenever they are out for some tour or whatever, it was always his responsibility to check on her and look after her safety. But today, when he saw her with some man out in the lobby, it was like something sparked inside him and he lost his temper. Then, again in the meeting room, looking at the clumsiness, he spat on her. Deep down, he knew it was not her fault, but still, something made him mad to the extent and burst his anger on her. He changed his clothes and made his way out to meet her and look after her safety. He knocked on the door but got no response. Miss Jung, are you there? He knocked many times but no response. Finally, he decided to leave from there, but when he was about to leave, he heard some whimpering sound which was not clearly audible. So he again knocked on the door. Miss Jung, please open the door, otherwise I'm gonna leave from here without taking you with me. He waited for a second. Immediately the door busted open. Mr. Kim, wait. Mr. Mr. Kim couldn't believe his eyes. Yurne was standing in front of him in just her undies. His eyes popped out of his socket. Miss Jung, what in the hell you're... He was cut in between when your name pulled him inside the room and closed the door. Mr. Kim, please help me. Your name hugged him tightly, rubbing her body with his. Mr. Kim gulped hard and tried to get off the hug, but Yonne was acting stubborn. She was not in her right senses and Mr. Kim had already found it out. So he lightly pulled Yonne by her shoulder. Miss Jung, what happened? Please tell me. I mean, I can help you. He licked his lips, looking everywhere but her in undies. But a sniffing sound made him look straight towards her, and she started scratching her belly and arm, wrapping herself around. Miss Jung, what are you? Stop, you're hurting yourself. He held her hand and pulled her closer, bumping their chests together. Yotem looked at him with teary eyes. It's hurting, Tae, she said and snuggled her face in the crook of his neck. It was the first time Yonem took his name, that too his nickname, that nobody ever dared to say out loud. They was numbed for a few seconds but later got courage to ask a simple question. What happened to you? You were fine some hours ago. He let her hands go. She immediately wrapped her arms around his back. I don't know. Maybe that drink. Her body was extremely hot and she was fainting heavily. Her grip around him tightened. Miss Jung, they groaned in pain when Yunim bit his neck. He wrapped his arm around her waist and squeezed it in reflex. Please do it again, Yunim said, now shifting more closer to him and caressing his back a little roughly. Miss Jung, you are not in your right Your name. My name is your name. She begged of the hug and her eyes filled with lust. Her body was betraying her. She was not in her right senses. Her body needed him. Her body was aching for someone else's body to soothe her pain. She moved forward and attached her lips to his plump one. He was shocked at sudden action, completely unaware with his surroundings. Yune started moving her lips, sucking and biting on the lower lips. He immediately hissed in pain when Yune bit his lips, being needy to an extent. They pushed her again. Yune, it's okay, come here. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Let me call the doctor. He turned to leave away, but suddenly he heard a thud. Yune fell on the ground unconscious. Just her lips were trembling. Her body temperature immediately increased. He ran towards her and without any second thought, he carried her in his arms to the bed. He laid her on the bed and covered her with the blanket. He heard your name and felt her shivering. She is in an unconscious state, held his hand for some warmth, but seemed like nothing happened. So with a heavy sigh, they also laid beside her on the bed and back hugged her to give her some warmth. Morning. Yudem woke up with an extreme headache, but something clicked her mind. She looked in front of her eyes and bang. Ah! She covered herself with a blanket. Mr. Kim, what? Why are you here? What have you done to me? They immediately got up from the bed in fear. Miss Jung, I'm sorry, nothing happened between us. Trust me. Yune was doubting his words, but when they let her know all the incidents of yesterday's night, she felt guilty and asked for forgiveness. They sorted the matter. Okay, Miss Jung, get ready, ASAP. We need to head for Seoul. She nodded and they went out of his room. The end. Like and subscribe.